I want to start with a poll. Imagine you are giving a virtual lecture or even a virtual meeting. Think about polls and whiteboards. What's your comfort level and how often would you use one? So click on your phone, look at the screen, and you see one axis is comfort level and one axis is how often would you use it, and just click where on that graph would you put yourself. Sure, Zoom's a mixed bag. It's got all these great features, and maybe you could get twice as much done. And at home, the coffee's much better. Coffee's great. But we get it. Zoom fatigue's everywhere. There's something about the tech that's great, but it feels hollow. And how can we use the tech to make the Zoom experience richer? And so one model is to think about the SAMR model. That is, with any technology, we could simply substitute and use the technology to do something we could do without the technology. But then we can also think, how can we use the technology to augment, modify, or even completely redefine what is possible? And for simplicity, for this lecture, we're going to think of it as simply substituting or using these interactive tools to transform. And with all of these tools, we're going to think, how can we use these tools to have shared experiences? How can we learn together? Bring back the together. And with a lecture, we all give lectures. We can think of our lecture in three phases. At the beginning, we're going to try to activate our learners. In the middle, we're going to lecture and we're going to add in activities to do together. And we're going to end with a formal review. And with that first phase, early on, we want to activate prior knowledge and create connections from the teacher to the learner. And we can use technology in simple substitution. If you have homework assigned to them, you could use a poll to quiz them. You could check their comfort level like I did at the beginning of this lecture, or we could use a gag, a joke like I did with this video. And then we can use the technology to transform. So we could use polling to create icebreakers, and two truths and a lie is a great way to do that. And we can use whiteboarding to crowdsource to activate prior knowledge. Here's an example where I showed learners the final product and an interactive video. And then at the beginning, I just asked them, what do you think are the steps to making this interactive lecture? And they wrote it on the whiteboard. Then I taught them. So I've activated what they already know and built on top of that. We all lecture, and in the middle, we can add in activities to bring back the togetherness. And we can do simple things that we already do even without technology. We could annotate an x-ray to point to the abnormality and have everyone do that together. We can have games. Online games are great. Kahoots is a great one. And we can use whiteboards to draw things and write things together to build. And here's an example. And now I also want you to think about check-ins, because we know that at about every 10 minutes, the learners start to fade, their attention fades. So every 8 to 10 minutes, build in a check-in. And they can be very quick check-ins. So Zoom has a feature where it's reactions, and where they can click on the reactions button and pick any of these reactions that they want. And you can ask them a question. They can give you a thumbs up, a heart, or something that shows that they got the topic, or that maybe you need to say a little bit more about it. You could, on a whiteboard, draw a simple line and have them use the stamps feature with Annotate. And with the stamps feature, there are different icons. They can pick any one, and they can pick, say, on a number line to answer a question, or even, as we did at the beginning of this lecture, in 2 dimensions where they tell us their comfort level. So you can use the Annotate feature with stamps to kind of get a check-in. And the third check-in, the one I really want to emphasize, is the muddiest point concept, where you pause in your lecture and ask them, what would you like to be clarified? And here I did with a whiteboard. And I stopped and they asked all their questions and we could start figuring out and answering the questions that they have in their mind real time. And now let's think about the last phase, how we want to end the lecture using interactive tools. And one is, and we want to have some sense of review. So a simple thing is you could just have question answer, and we can do that without technology. And with technology, you can have it where the learners type in their questions, and then other learners can click the thumbs up or the thumbs down and promote questions up. And so you'll see the questions that more people have up at the top, and you can answer those first, and you can spend more time on those questions. You can use this review phase to build reviews together, using your learners to build a review together, and word clouds is a way to do that. And you could use whiteboards and screen saves. So you do an activity, you can save that as a work product and share it with them later. You can layer the activities that you do and save it at the end and share that back with the learners. Or you can have them build and write a review to questions that you give them all together interactively. Screen save it, share it back with them. And we know that learners are going to forget. Forgetting is a normal part of learning, so we want to have ways for them to remember again. And things that are forgotten and remembered again are stronger memories. So these work products, these screen saves, when you share it back with them, it gives them a way to revisit a topic and learn together, to reflect on it, to make their own connections and reframe the ideas. And if we're still using Twitter, I'll tweet the last two slides as my way of sharing a work product back with you so you can remember these ideas later. Let's ask this question. So you've seen a number of interactive tools. Which one would you like to use more of? And let's end with two ideas. With all of these interactive tools, we want to have shared learning experiences which promote learning. We want to do together, 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 together. And we can think of our lectures in three phases. And with all of these technologies, with all of these interactive tools, we can think about icebreakers, crowdsourcing, check-ins with Muddiest Point, building reviews together and building layers to create that review. With all of this, we're using our interactive tools to transform, 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 transform.